Hey, how's it going? It's Josh. So I'm just kind of chilling by the river, relaxing a little bit. It's been an exhausting few days. We had psychic medium Tammy Schuster in town, and we hit up a bunch of haunted places. So just kind of pondering which experience to share with you first. And those of you who don't know psychic Tammy Schuster, I think the best way to introduce her is to start with the video that happened at the shops at Carson Block, where she was able to call out every single little thing the owners had just told me without Tammy being present. Check this out. Hey, so kind of funny. Hi, Tammy. We actually just got done shopping in one of the stores here in Grand Rapids, and it was funny when we walked in, you had noticed something.
It was so heavy. The first thing I asked you if it was old funeral home.
Yeah, and I just want to point something out. You might want to look this way, Tammy, because I don't want... Hold on, we're going to go this way.
Okay.
I'm going to flip it around. So I don't want to show Tammy what's going on. But she said that that place was like a funeral home. We're doing one of our hunts at this store right here. So just remember what she said about this store, which is connected to it. So we are at the shops at Carson Block in downtown Grand Rapids, where it said that it's haunted by a young girl. I've got psychic medium Tammy Schuster behind me. She's actually going to hang out here, record her feelings as I'm walking in, talking to Joe and Stephanie, the two owners, to see what the story is behind it. Tammy wants to go in completely blind to see if she can figure something out. So we'll walk in right now and talk to Joe and Stephanie. So this is where they say that there is a young girl that haunts. Whew. So doing this before Tammy gets back here.
So Josh is walking in and talking. He's leaving me behind. So I don't know where we're going into one of these little stores. He took me in one earlier that I felt like a funeral, like it was a morgue or something. There's definitely, in this block, there has to have been a morgue, but I'm smelling smoke. So I don't know if the morgue burnt down, because I smell like smoke. He's got me outside. I don't know what's going on inside. But I'm 2 doors down from where Josh is. I don't know if you can see me. And so he said that was the bank that we were at. So my guess is one of these buildings in this block, it had to have been a morgue, because I still feel it. And almost, like I said, I smell smoke out here. So I feel like the building would have burned. I don't feel like it's going to be real sad, but I think that wherever he's taken me has to do with like a dislocated spirit, almost like they would have moved from one direction, maybe because of the fire. Maybe the building where this person was is gone. So I feel like where I'm going is going to be visiting a spirit that maybe wasn't originally, and we had talked about this before, that it originally was not maybe attached to this building and just kind of showed up later.
I found Joe and Stephanie, partners of the shops at Carson Block, correct?
Correct.
And what's really cool, first off, they've been super supportive of my other project, which is Towpath Radio. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys. What was really cool when I came in the last time to talk to you guys, you were telling me about this area here in your store, the Just For You shop, part of the shops at Carson Block, and some odd things that have happened. Now, I want to go through the story before we bring in psychic medium Tammy Schuster. What happens back here?
Well, racks fall off the wall, and these racks are actually into not just drywall, screwed into studs, and we'll come in the morning and like the entire rack will be off the wall,
Really?
clothes on the floor. So, and that would happen quite often, every once in a while, and we just didn't think much of it.
Well, it was short. We did the remodeling back here.
We did do the remodeling.
That's when it kind of started picking up.
This was all enclosed.
Used to be enclosed.
So the stair. Okay. So
and it goes upstairs to our book nook. When we first bought the building, the stairway was actually like completely floored off. You couldn't even go up there. For the Apple Butter Fest in 2016, which is usually when I come up with my best ideas to do major remodeling projects, we had come up with this idea to open the stairway up. So we took down the wall. Like right after that, instantly right after that, like we'd come in and these clothing racks would be falling. There'd be toys all over the place. And,
wow.
We just thought that was odd, and we thought maybe we hung too much stuff on it, but it really wasn't. A lot of the infant rack would be fallen too, which is lightweight clothing.
That's back here, right?
Yes.
And you guys can see that it's screwed into the.
But the Monday after the Apple Butter Fest in 2016, Stephanie's mom, Barb, was working up front, and there was this lady that came in, and she comes up to the counter and tells her, "What is going on in the back room? There is this little girl back there, and she's just all kinds of upset." And Barb's like, "Oh, I didn't even know there was a little girl in here." So Barb goes to come back here, thinking there's this little girl she needs to settle down. And the lady's like, no, she's a spirit. She called herself an intuitive reader.
Huh.
And she said that she felt the presence of a little girl.
And it was a joyful presence, a happy
it wasn't
present.
Dark.
Right.
Yeah. She said it wasn't dark, but she was upset. And so, she had asked Barb, she's like, "Have you guys done any changing, remodeling?" And Barb's like, "Yeah, we just kind of remodeled back there. We had these support beams put in and, open up the stairway." And she's like, "Yeah, that's it. She's afraid of the stairs." Well, then 2 weeks later, a guy came in who we hadn't met before. He now lives in one of our apartments upstairs. He comes in and says the same thing.
Wow.
There's a 5 or 6 year old spirit in the back there. And then one of them...
It was a Victorian name. He couldn't think of the name. Like Elisabeth, Anna, Victoria,
or something like that.
We just came up with the name of Annabelle.
So we call her Annabelle.
So we talk to her and tell her...
Does she respond to Annabelle that you guys have seen?
She will... we don't feel her but he was the one that told us, because we told him about racks falling off the wall and toys being all over the place. He was the one that said, "You know what, she's not dark, just, talk to her. And
be firm with her.
Yeah, just be firm with her.
Give her a toy to play with and say, this is your toy to play with, and
don't be They thought they were like swinging, doing like gymnastics on the clothing racks is what
she would swing on the racks and pull them off the wall.
And
interesting.
So, so we started giving her toys to play with. So, and the one thing
it was fine for a
while
until the toy sold.
Yeah.
And then when the toy sold, the specific toy, then a rack would fall.
So she got upset.
She got upset because that toy sold.
What did this building used to be? Do you guys know the history of it?
Yeah. Yep. So this building was Fred Gill's grocery store.
Okay.
And then where the dentist office is, right next door, there was an identical building. They were completely identical buildings with a center stairway that went upstairs from the front. And in that building, he had a furniture and what we later found out was an undertaking business. An undertaking business.
And that's interesting.
Yeah. So in 1978, concrete in the garage. So this was an addition that was put in on 79 after that fire.
Okay.
So this was, you can see these are, block walls. That was the back of the building. That was the original building.
Okay, yeah.
And so what we're thinking, I don't know, just the timeline kind of makes sense. That the building burnt down. We feel like Annabelle was stuck in there for some reason, and the building burnt down. She had nowhere to go. Was wandering over here, on this property, and then this addition went up, and she got stuck in
the
here.
addition.
Interesting.
Yes.
But I know I mentioned this to you guys off camera. So psychic Tammy Schuster, she is a good friend of mine that she used to work with me in a morning show up in northern Michigan when I worked up there. So we go way back. And we were just going to some of the shops around town earlier when she got here. And we actually went over to the Providence house. And right when she walked in, she's like, whew. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, there's got to be a morgue around here somewhere. And first thing I thought it was, I'm like, I thought I remember Joe talking about, I thought it was either this building or the building next door.
Yeah. Yep.
So she's picking up on something, which will be interesting to see what she picks up on when she comes in here. So we'll go out and I'll go get her. I'll grab my equipment, and thanks, guys.
Yeah,
all right,
no problem.
thank you.
Okay, then me. Is this where we're going?
Yeah, so we're gonna go in.
This is brighter.
And then we'll hang a left up here, go through that door.
Okay, so now I'll tell you what I said outside and see where it applies to here. So, where she stands, like there's a girl that is waiting. I don't think she's afraid of the stairs, but I think she's like waiting for someone to come down the stairs. Everyone says that she's afraid to go up them, but that's not it at all. It's like, was there a fire? Because outside I smelled like fire, like a fire, but I don't know how brick can burn. So outside I said I felt like this fire and smoke. And so where does the morgue fit into this place?
The guy that owned this building, he owned an identical building next door,
Where I was sitting?
pretty close to where you were sitting. So like where the dentist office is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right where I was out there.
And that one burnt down in 1978.
Y'all know that the little girl like sits at the bottom of the stairs, right?
We knew she had an issue with the stairs. We weren't just sure.
I almost feel like when the morgue burned down, I think she's misplaced. I don't think she's always been here, correct?
No.
Because I felt when I sat outside when I was talking on his phone, I said for whatever reason I feel like when I'm coming here something was misplaced when the things burnt down. Like this little girl shifted. I don't think she was even in the morgue. I think she was looking for someone. I almost feel like there was a fire and she was told to wait downstairs and someone went up looking for something, and I think that's why the little girl sits at the bottom of the stairs and won't go up, because she was told to wait at the bottom of the stairs.
So this, where we're standing, like this was the actual back end of the building.
Okay.
When that fire happened next door.
Okay.
And this was an addition that was put on in 1979 based on a stamp in the concrete,
Okay.
in the garage.
Okay.
And so that's what we've kind of felt is
So it was like
what you said.
Yeah,
like
and that's
she
what
was
I said
misplaced
outside, that I felt before I even come in here, I said, like, I feel like wherever he's taken me is like, whatever's here is misplaced because something was burned, and so she moved when that was, and I don't think she was in the morgue per se, but I think that's the last place that she remembers like a parent or something being, and I think she was more looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like she was caught somewhere where she was told, like, if you were in a fire, you would you wait down here if you would go upstairs. I don't think she has a fear of the stairs, because she's saying that you guys think she has a fear, or someone says she has a fear of the stairs. I just think she's being a good girl and was told, you wait here. Not these stairs, obviously, but a set of stairs. She was told, you wait here. And so I think when you see her, she gets impatient sometimes, because she's waiting for whoever to come. I think you have the good girl, and then you have the very impatient girl, like, how long do I have to wait? So I think you probably experience both, but it's the same. So I think with this kid that you've named, which is not the right name, but you've named her, but I feel like you get both sides. You get the impatient, like, come on, hurry up, let's go. Mm-hmm. And then you got the good girl where she's happy and playing and that kind of thing. But the stairs, I don't get that she has a fear of stairs. I believe like she was at the bottom when whoever she lost might have went up, and it could have not even been in this town. When they're misplaced, like they could have been brought to a morgue and, so they look, and so when that burned, then they get misplaced a lot. And it's so weird because we just talked about misplaced spirits.
Well,
earlier today, before we even knew, I said, sometimes, because he said, so they have to die there. And I said, no, it's not how it is. Sometimes they go places looking for people or things, and they may have fallen in love with you or felt comfortable with you or whatever, and so they get a new attachment. So they're not always, because he's like, this place is new. I said, that doesn't matter. The things in it isn't new. I mean, so there's something that could have triggered a familiar thing.
The stairs used to be covered up. They were walled off. Like there was a wall here, there was a door frame here, and a door. And we had nothing about her until we did some remodeling,
And the
took
stairs
that
were
wall
showing.
down, and then the stairs started
Because
showing,
she's got that
and then
fear of stairs.
things started
I
going
just
off.
feel like almost she was at the bottom, but she's definitely a misplaced. She's not misplaced anymore. Like, this is home. You ain't gonna get rid of her.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is
Well, that's
home,
kinda
but
cool.
she was misplaced. But she does, I think, when you get things knocked over, sometimes I think it's her.
Are you getting a name?
I kind of get like, I keep seeing Elisabeth with an S is what I keep hearing over and over again.
We've heard Elisabeth.
Elizabeth
we
with an
have
S.
Elizabeth
But she keeps saying with an S.
with an S, so not a Z.
Right, Elizabeth with an S.
But we had just acquired the candy counter, like
Okay.
over while it used to be at one of the other stores.
Which
we,
shows she roamed from, so she goes from here to the candy counter, so that goes
so maybe
shows you.
she knew it.
So that
She
goes
could've
to
been
show
familiar
you
with
that
this.
she's
Could've
been
been,
familiar.
yeah.
So the only two places she is the stairway and then the
And then
candy
the
counter.
candy
Because I
counter.
said she's misplaced, so she's and I said they can go from building to building to building. It doesn't, but for whatever reason she likes it. So it doesn't mean she's here 24/7. She can be going and visiting
Oh,
things that are
okay.
familiar. So if the candy counter came from another store where she's been
Right,
going, that makes sense that you would have her there as well.
right.
Yeah.
So her daughter came back here and seen
So
her?
No.
it was over at the candy counter. So that day, one of our friends, and at the candy counter, and she was just, whoa, I think your little girl's over here. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, she's pretty strong. She's like, come over here and just see what you feel. And I just felt like a brush, just I felt it. And I was telling some, because we've been very public with the story about Annabelle. It's fun. People, love kind of hearing about it.
Annabelle's a creepy doll. I just want you to know that. I've seen the real Annabelle doll. It's
Oh,
actually
right.
the real Annabelle doll is actually a Raggedy Ann doll because John Zaffis has
Oh,
it.
okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
they had to portray it as a scary doll because otherwise you wouldn't
Oh.
buy it. But the real Annabelle is a creepy thing.
Well, we'll start calling her Elizabeth.
Yes.
That
Elizabeth
might be
with
a
a
little
S.
bit of- So, and then the Glotties that own the photography studio across the street were in, and Jake, he's like,
Can I
I couldn't help over here, and can I show you a video real quick? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what's this video about? Well, they had brought their little girl in. She's about 2 years old at the time. They had brought their little girl in, who normally loved going to the candy counter. She likes the big gourmet lollipops, usually loved going to the candy counter. She had herself backed up against the cabinet where all the walls are right there, and she would not go near the candy counter.
Because of
She
the
was
possession
crying,
of
she
that
was
little
whimpering,
girl.
and she was pointing.
But she can be sassy and
So.
bossy and she's bigger.
Oh,
so-
she's definitely sassy.
Yeah, 100%. And but that explains going to the candy counter because it's familiar, especially if it was in another building.
Right.
Okay.
And that could
would
have
make sense.
that could have been the familiar thing that brought her here. Because, like I said, something familiar would have. When did you get the candy counter?
That was before
That
we got
was
the candy counter.
April in 2020.
Okay,
but
so the stairs opened up before that.
Yes,
Yeah, the
but
stairs.
she didn't.
She didn't go
over
outside
there.
and tell the candy counter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had no experience with her at the store next door.
Okay, so it wasn't until you got the candy counter because they do that. They have a tendency to go for familiar things. And so they're different than us. Like you think, okay, if I'm in the store, how do I know what's familiar over there? Remember, they're different. They
Right.
float in the air. They see everything. And if you're talking about we're getting this candy counter and you're having a conversation,
Right.
she knows you're getting the candy counter.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a candy counter.
Oh, there's a candy counter.
Yeah.
From the old. Okay, so
The old Gilead shop,
which is where
across the alley,
so within
next to Garden Gate. Yeah.
so all in this
just
area.
within walking. Right.
Those are the kind of mushrooms that don't get you in trouble.
Yes.
Which way do I gotta go with this? You wanna?
I'll get it.
Yeah. How about you get that? I'm gonna move over here. Thanks. Bye bye. I
Sorry.
think you blew them away.
I'm sorry you didn't get to play with your toys.
So let's walk up here. I'll show you the. So we were
this
just
is
inside
kinda-
this one
So
here.
this would have been where I was at, the corner that burned, the morgue that I was talking about.
This
would
is
have
when they
been
said the morgue was. This
Yeah.
dentist
So that
office
was
right here.
in this corner when I was talking. I said it was 2 doors down, and I felt like this was the morgue and it burnt. But then I said, how could it burn? It's brick.
Yep. And then the old Gilead where they got that candy counter.
Recording outside was really good because I could have sat and told you that I said that outside.
Yeah.
But that was a really good idea to do that.
See, I was wondering if they were gonna believe me that I'm like, no, this is exactly what they just got done telling me exactly what you just told them. That's crazy.
Well, I think the look on your face So
this is where the candy counter came from.
Nice.
So it is within the same kind of block.
Familiar.
Yeah. That was the shops at Carson block. Are we calling her the ghost of Annabelle or the ghost of Elisabeth?
Annabelle's just creepy. It's just a little girl. I call her Elisabeth with an S.
But I think with that, we didn't have to get the toys out because there wasn't anything to investigate. You figured it all out right then and there, and you basically said everything that they told me while you were sitting out here on the sidewalk. So
filming my own. And you're so smart because he said, let's have you record what you're feeling while I go in. Because then otherwise I could have told you, well, this is what I was feeling too, but that's kind of cool.
And that's the thing. I don't know that anybody's going to believe me that I didn't explain everything to Tammy, but I swear to God, I did not explain a word to her about anything.
Hook us up with a lie detector.
So yeah, right. But there we go. If you like these videos, you want more of them, hit like and subscribe. Follow Tammy Schuster on Facebook, TammySchuster.com. And until next time.